Question 64. Why did God create man male and female?
God, who is love, and the archetype of community, created man male and female. So that together they might be an image of his nature. God made humanity in such a way that one is male or female. There's a saying, opposites attract. Both genders long for fulfillment and completion in an encounter with the opposite sex. Men and women have absolutely the same dignity, but in their masculinity and femininity, they give an expression to different aspects of God's perfection. God is not male or female, but he has shown himself to be both fatherly in Luke 6:36 and motherly in Isaiah 66:13. When a man and woman get married in love and give to each other completely, man and woman become one flesh, Genesis 2:24, and have a child. People are privileged to sense how their union reflects something of the happiness of the union with God, in which every man finds his ultimate wholeness. The goal for a husband and wife is for their love to be faithful, just as God's love is always faithful. And it is the same for how new life comes from marriage, is like how God himself is always creating.
Question 65. What about people who feel they are homosexual?
The Church believes that in the order of creation, man and woman are designed to need each other's complementary traits. And to enter into a mutual relationship so as to give life to children. That is why homosexual practices cannot be approved by the Church. Christians owe all persons respect and love, however, regardless of their sexual orientation, because all people are respected and loved by God. There is one powerful analogy of a fish swimming in water, in which we get used to the same old in our country of people say this and people do that. When the fish gets out of water, it is like cold water splashed in our face. How so? Sometimes we see or hear that things becoming accepted in our everyday world are really not in conformity with God's will. That being said, if you think of each person, both past and present, all have one thing in common. They all come forth from the sexual union of man and woman, or in other terms, a mother and a father. There is no person who came forth from only one person, or without any parents at all. It is physically impossible. When you see a man's body and a woman's body, they complement each other to create life. This is natural law. When a woman and a man experience a birth, it is a powerful experience in which they experience God's power of creation given to them. While the Trinity is a union that is life-giving, so we are made in the image and likeness of God. Through our union with the opposite gender, to be life-giving too. We may not be able to imagine the painful reality of someone who discovers that she or he is not attracted to the opposite gender, but the same gender, which is called same-sex attraction. Otherwise, it is abbreviated as SSA. This leads to several difficulties, such as how to disclose to family and friends, missing the experience of a fruitful union in creating a new baby with a spouse of the opposite gender, the sacrament of matrimony, and so forth. God and Scripture mention that dating and marriage are only between a man and woman exclusively. We cannot change God's laws. So what does this mean for a person with SSA? It is an important clarification that the SSA temptation and inclination in itself is not a sin. But dwelling on and acting on the SSA is a sin and to be avoided. This means that God does not approve of homosexual practices or behaviors, such as intimate kissing, sex, but God cherishes each person. Regardless of who we love, for those who have SSA and those who don't, we all have a responsibility in how we show love, which includes controlling it with God's grace in healthy ways. That is called chastity. We still owe people with SSA respect and love and no discrimination. Remember that no discrimination doesn't mean I'm free to do whatever I want. We all have a responsibility to follow and fulfill God's will, as that brings us the ultimate lasting peace and redemption. We can offer any struggles and challenges, such as SSA, which enables us to rely on God more. especially by placing our struggles with the sacrifice of the Lord on the cross. As a result, people with SSA can have inner freedom by having good family and friends. They can also rely on God through prayer and sacramental graces from participating in sacraments, which all can bring them to Christian perfection. The Catholic Church has an amazing service to support all Roman Catholics with SSA and those whose loved ones have SSA. Check out the national website of www.couragerc.org and see where you can go to participate in Courage chapters in your area. It's really quite wonderful. Hello, my name is Father Christopher Klussman. I'm from the Archdiocese of Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next week.